Hi, Margaret at Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. We all have one thing in common. We're all going to die. Do you have an estate plan? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. The choice of an attorney is an important decision that should not be based solely on advertising.
This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. And by Anderson Hospital, a Newsweek World's Best Hospital. Now, the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
You know what else we all have in common? We all care about the St. Louis Cardinals if we're tuning in right now to the Gashouse Gang in some way, shape, or form. And I assure you of that. I know I say this all the time. Chris Ranji, Tom Ackerman here, but I have a firm belief that all negativity directed towards the Cardinals this year has been out of love and passion, and somewhere along the line, that person loved the experience of the Cardinals and wants it back. That's it, plain and simple.
What you're saying is they made us do it?
They made us do what?
Be angry at them.
No. I'm not angry. First of all, I cover the team and I present facts to the audience and let them decide. But
you report, they decide.
That's right.
Okay.
I'm passionate about baseball, and I understand the anger, because if I was a fan who plunked down dollars and I expected a better product, I would probably rethink and I'd be a little angry. Now, some people think differently. They go to the ballpark to have a good time and to sit in the sun and enjoy a hot dog and come and go as they please, and socialize with their neighbor. And that's going on like in Denver, Coors Field. Mm-hmm. People love to go to the game and see the mountains, have a beer, have a good time, socialize with their friends. They're not deep into it like Cardinals fans are. Cardinals fans are a different breed. You have to understand them to be able to move forward here. And I think that is the task of everybody. I think that's what Chaim Bloom's going to try to do also. As much as Chaim has in the last couple of years reviewed this team, I assure you he's paid attention to the market too. It's a different market than he's used to. Tampa, St. Petersburg was one. Boston was a complete opposite of that. And now you settle into St. Louis and it's its own kind of market. And, it's like, your rival there in the NFL, the Green Bay Packers. I would compare it to that. There's a great tradition of winning. There's an expectation. It's the show in the market, and it's what you do, and people care a lot about it. And that's why I think this show has done well. I think that's why the readership of, Derek and Katie and everybody else's articles do well. And that's why the ratings are good on the games, is that people are still locked into it and want to know what's next. And even though if they don't show up in the seats.
I like to think, Tom, that we have a little bit more going on in St. Louis than they do in Green Bay, other than the baseball team. You know what I mean? That's not really a shot at Green Bay, though it is.
The Milwaukee is their market.
You're right.
You're
right. Well, I mean, the entire state of Wisconsin.
Yeah. But I get your point.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and you're right. And people have every right to be frustrated with the product this year. There is a feeling, and I think this is about right. There's this feeling that there just hasn't, over the last 4 or 5 years, been enough investment in what the roster can be. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean monetarily, because I think that's what most people think. They default to that right away. Well, there's not a whole lot of money in payroll, or they're not as high as they should be in payroll based on the sort of revenue they generate as a small market team. But it's not just that. It is very much also about what they didn't do at the minor league level. And maybe we weren't as privy to what was going on down there, or what wasn't going on down there, that they had fallen behind in a lot of respects. I mean, I think we kind of got the idea that they might be falling a bit behind, but we didn't know the depth of it until fairly recently. And it does seem like they are trying to move in the right direction. Is this the right thing? Is the hiring of Bloom the thing that's going to turn this around? I don't know. But I do know he does have a bit of a track record. He does seem to, if you go back and look at what he's done in cities like Tampa Bay, that he does have an idea of of how to do it, or at least that's how it looks. And he's going to take over here, and it's going to have to be a partnership, a real partnership between him, his vision, and what ownership is also willing to do and how far they are willing to go, which is the same sort of constraints that John Mozeliak has been operating under. And I think that's true of all presidents of baseball operations, general managers around the sport. It kind of really does start with ownership. And ownership has to have a lot of buy-in and recognition of what the problems are, and then the desire to back it up with whatever resources are necessary to correct those things. I believe that they are doing that at the minor league level. We're not going to really find out if it's working for another few years, but we can at least look at what the process is, and the more they tell us about that process, we can feel better about what they're doing. And I am looking forward to seeing how that communication goes over the next several months once Bloom does take over, and see if there's much of a change there or if there's a continuation of the way things have been.
I think Ollie Marmol's presence on this show has been a positive step forward. I've seen, I can't, specifically find it, but I've recalled seeing here recently a lot of people saying, that's kind of what I'm talking about right there, that they said the Cardinals did a good thing here by having Marmol. No, actually Marmol did it. Marmol and KMOX, we came together with him, and he wanted to do this. This was partly his idea. He wanted to get in front of you, the audience, and be transparent and say, look, I'll take on all your questions. I'm not hiding, and I want to be transparent. I want to talk about what's going on behind the scenes. And the ultimate episode, I thought, was the Brant Brown episode, where they really got into the Jordan Walker thing. And maybe, they feel like they went to a level that got a little touchy, and, he didn't really get into the details about the reverberations after that, but he did say that he felt pretty good about how Jordan responded to that. Matt said more like 10 years. And what does that mean? Did you just say, I missed it?
Maybe Matt, who's watching on YouTube, was referring to, I think it says, but maybe over the last 5 years that people have been a little more disenchanted or felt that way about what the direction they've gone.
Okay, I thought he was saying or maybe it would take 10 years. No, he's right, actually. It is,
or maybe that's what he is saying. Yeah. It's lack of investment.
No, he is saying it is the last 10 years because to me it did start, even though the team was successful over the last 10 years, the first part of the last 10 years, it started with the Cubs getting good, in my opinion. The Cubs beating the Cardinals in 15 was the start of this thing.
Yeah.
Knocking them out in the division series, then winning the World Series in 16. That really ticked off Cardinals fans. And the team never really got back after that. 17, 18, they missed the playoffs 3 years in a row, 16 through 18. 19, Mike Schilt gets it done. They take care of the Braves, but they get swept by the Nationals. 20 is COVID, unfortunately, that sidelined a lot of teams. Cardinals had all the chaos just like everybody else trying to get through their schedule. And then, Schulte gets fired. 21, though, he does pretty well, but gets fired. Ollie takes the team to the division title in 22, and they just miss with Arenado and Goldschmidt in the top three in the MVP voting, Goldie winning it. It just, from there, after not making anything happen in the playoffs, their play started to slip, and therefore everything kind of fell apart. Well, it wasn't just their fault, but everything kind of slid from there. So what I'm saying is it has been, over the last 10 years, a very slow regression, and the fans have watched it. And last year, I think, said that's enough.
And a lot of times there's lag when it comes to, if there is a no longer a focus of investment or trying to be on the forefront of what you're supposed to do at the minor league level. If you're not investing the way you should be investing, like a lot of these other more modern franchises are doing, it takes some time for that to find its way to the big league level. Even if you're not really investing in payroll, even sometimes that can take a year or two to start to show up. It doesn't necessarily happen right away. And that's kind of what happened here, I think, is that the problems, the foundational structural issues, did not start to show themselves until several years later. Because the Cardinals at one point, if we talked about a long time, they were out in front of drafting and developing and producing players that came up and contributed immediately. And I'm not even necessarily putting Pujols in that category, because that's a generational talent that you just don't run into those very often.
No.
So I don't necessarily mean him. It's other supporting cast players or guys who are, they themselves are star players or star player adjacent. You have to be able to develop those guys, and the Cardinals have not really been able to do that lately. And that, to me, is it, and does take a little time for you to be able to see the results of that. And that's what the last few years have been. The last 3 seasons, that's what it's been. It's been us now finally seeing the results of lack of investment, or not enough investment, or the wrong kind of investment.
We are going to talk about the minor league system with Brian Walton, who's one of the foremost experts on it. I'll tell you, if you want a good gig, I don't know how much money it'll make you, but I'd maybe thinking about becoming a minor league expert with regard to the St. Louis Cardinals, because that's what everybody's going to want to know, is what's coming up. And there are a lot of guys writing about it. Brian was one of the first, I think, to really cover this thing extensively. There was a question in here. Keegan wanted to know who will interview on the show when we begin the off season, is what he means. So when Marmol finishes up here at the end of September. That's a great question. I mean, we can openly talk about that. I think that Chaim Bloom would be a natural fit. I mean, my goal, of course, is to have Chaim replace John Mozeliak at 11:30 on Sunday mornings, but it might be a better fit if we can get him on the Gashouse Gang as part of our show, if he's willing to do that on a weekly basis to update us, or maybe somebody else from the team. Certainly, we won't be just covering baseball in this show. There are other sports that are about to happen. Barrett Jackman's going to join us here at 12:45 to talk. He's the new alumni director for the Blues. Yep. We'll talk about the Blues' upcoming season. Their rookies report to camp tomorrow. We have football, basketball, all kinds of things. But baseball, as we started the show saying, is the engine that runs this sports scene.
It's going to be a fascinating time. I mean, this will be another
off-season.
Fascinating offseason, because we don't really know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll be going hard. I mean, Bernie's going to be part of it. Certainly Chaim will be part of it to some extent. Whether we can get somebody in on a weekly basis like Ollie could be tough. We may have to rotate that, but that could make it even more exciting, just to have a rotation of people talking about what's happening inside the organization in a very important offseason, where I think they will come out with Chaim in a press conference and start that momentum of being transparent, of communicating, of explaining the plan. And I do think that's really important. Brian Walton is going to be with us to talk about what he is seeing in the minor leagues, and that's a big deal, what has happened already. Liam Doyle jumps to the Double-A very quickly. J.J. Weatherholt had a great minor league season. Some, though, did not. And we'll hear about his thoughts on those
He
players.
had some soreness, and it kept him out, but he believes he's back now. So we'll talk about JJ too.
We'll get the update from Walton. Right now, I want to tell you about Genesis of St. Charles. Great car dealership located in St. Peter's at 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway, St. Charles County. Genesis of St. Charles is the best car dealership in terms of a facility that I've ever walked into. It's an incredible place that happens to have cars, and it seems like it's a high-end hotel or, very techie high-end building that I think you'll enjoy browsing the vehicles. They have a large selection out on their lot as well. They can bring it to you if you want. You can test drive it right from your home. They can deliver the car to you. Just go to genesisofstcharles.com to look around. But they're Missouri's #1 Genesis dealer for a reason. People have come to them. They've heard the stories about how great the place is, and they love the Genesis vehicles. I mean, people are trading in Audis and BMWs to get into a Genesis. Go to Genesis of St. Charles to learn more. That's genesisofstcharles.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different, Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
We can get more sleep, we can get more sun, and we can get more exercise, but the one thing we can't get more of is time. It's time to eliminate the one phrase that could be holding you back from reaching your retirement goals. I'll take care of it tomorrow. It's time to pick up the phone and make the call to Gary Goldberg and the team at Financial and Tax Strategies, 314-991-9005, or online at checkwithgary.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Centaurus Financial, Inc., an FFC registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Gary Goldberg, NPN number 918615.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After a coma, a miracle, and the fight of my life, I made it back to the games wearing my signature cowboy hat and jersey. Then came the baseball pants, the replica trophy, and the smiles and joy from the young fans. That's when the Cardinal Cowboy was born. Renter Garage Door knows how to bring joy too. With top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and family service you can trust, get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Named one of Newsweek's world's best hospitals for 2025, Anderson Hospital is your hospital for life, delivering exceptional, compassionate care to families across the Metro East. From emergency services to specialized treatments, our dedicated team supports your health at every stage. Experience world-class care close to home. Discover the difference at andersonhospital.org.
KMOX is now on 104.1 FM, the same great station with even better sound.
It's strike three. That baseball is going back to the dugout. Liam Doyle has his first professional strikeout, and he does so seeing something new. As an amateur, he does not get the challenge system. Here as a pro, he does, and there's one away.
The call from the Palm Beach Cardinals. That'd be a fun gig, wouldn't it? Play-by-play down in Roger Dean Stadium. Maybe a little
for life.
Time.
Yeah. How about that?
Play some ball.
You have to work a side job, though.
Yeah. Yeah, you could bartend down there in Abacoa or something.
Oh, man, that'd be something.
Yeah. Brian Walton knows that minor league system in and out. TheCardinalNation.com. He joins us on KMOX. My man, it has been too long. I love talking baseball and specifically prospects with you. How are you?
I'm doing great, and it's down to the stretch now, and Springfield's going to be in the playoffs, and the Cardinals have moved some players there to get a little postseason experience, which is good to see.
Yes, it is. TheCardinalNation.com. I was trying to guess how long you've been doing this. I said that if you wanted to have a good gig right now in Cardinals media, it would be chasing these prospects. You've been doing it a long time, haven't you, Brian?
It's over 20 years, I guess, since I first started and went full time into it in 2008. And it's a labor of love, Tom. I don't get rich at it, but I'm doing something that I really enjoy, and that is bringing news and commentary to fans about the Cardinals minor leaguers.
You do a great job with it. Can I ask you, do you ever remember getting two great top 7 prospects back to back like this, J.J. Weatherholt and Liam Doyle in consecutive seasons? Because I don't, and I've covered the team since 97.
No, I mean, back to J.D. Drew in 98, but there wasn't 2 years in a row like that. And I think it's extremely important, Tom, to hope and really expect that these two guys are going to come through, because as you said, it's unprecedented for the Cardinals to pick this early. It's a byproduct, the one positive byproduct of the last couple of losing seasons, or at least poor subpar seasons. And the Cardinals really need some core players, sort of the next generation of anchor players, because the Cardinals have traditionally had complementary players, adequate complementary players across the board, whether pitching and hitting, but they haven't really had those superstars, those stars to take it to that next level. And you've got to hope that on the offensive side, J.J. Weatherholt can be that. And, it's very early for Liam Doyle, obviously. He's only pitched less than 2 innings as a professional, but hopes are going to be high for him.
So we have heard a lot and really, I guess it's going back to last season, a little more detail about why the system hasn't been particularly good. The Cardinals haven't really stayed out in front of other organizations the way they had 20 years ago, that it's just different now. Just how, because you look at them, you cover them very, very closely and have for years, but you also know about other organizations. just how behind are the Cardinals and how much catch up do they and have they been trying to play?
Well, I think if we had this conversation a year ago, Chris, I think my answer would have been fairly bleak. The Cardinals cut money in terms of spending in their minor leagues. They didn't invest in the new technologies like they said they would and like other organizations did. They didn't invest in the people with the skills to do that. And they cut back on their coaching. As other organizations added coaches and instructors and roving instructors, the Cardinals pulled back. And eventually, it doesn't happen day one, but eventually starts to show at the major league level. And also, in the drafts, they made a swing away from their traditional core of pitching and focused more on hitting in recent years. And there was a gap, a donut hole, if you want to call it that, in player development, in that there weren't the next round of starting pitchers to step in. Before Andre Polani stepped into the rotation early on last season, all 5 pitchers in the St. Louis Cardinals rotation had come in from the outside. And that's unheard of, but it's also not a financial model that's sustainable for a mid-market team like the Cardinals. They have to have these players come up through the system and be relatively inexpensive so they can have the complementary players, or the players around them, to become championship caliber again.
Is that Chaim Bloom's forte, Brian, the pitching side of it? I mean, when you hear about his resume and you see what he's done through the years, is that his best attribute as a general manager / president of baseball operations?
Certainly building the minor league system, and Tampa Bay has been a model for some time in terms of getting a lot out of minimal resources, and that's where he cut his teeth. He went to Boston and did very, very well in rebuilding the Red Sox minor league system. But of course, what everybody remembers about Chaim Bloom is he's the guy that traded away Mookie Betts and didn't get a great return for it. Now, it wasn't necessarily his decision to trade Betts; that was a financial decision up top. But Bloom is very, very good at developing players, and he's put the core around that at the beginning of this season in the winter when he brought in, of course, a new AGM, Rob Cerfolio, and they added new director level, executive level positions in charge of pitching, the farm system, et cetera. And now there's going to be, I think, another round of changes this winter as they continue to build up player development. But for those who expect, immediate results, don't. Chaim Bloom has a 5-year contract, so he'll be around through 2030. And I think I'm obviously, we'd be disappointed if it took 5 more years for the Cardinals to get back into the playoffs. But the point is, it's going to take time. It's not going to be, there's no magic formula that's going to fix this right away.
So this is, and I have been saying this for a few years, that Cardinals fans, I believe, would be on board with sort of a rebuild, a reset in that way, if they felt like the plan was good, and on the other side of that plan, there's going to be a winning baseball team that, we've seen, like you mentioned, the Rays, we've seen the Cubs do it, the Astros did it. So that I thought the appetite was there for it. And then we talk about the Rays and what Chaim Bloom was able to do there and the restraints that he had to work under, and he should have fewer restraints with the Cardinals. But I'm wondering, when you're the Tampa Bay general manager, president of baseball operations, whatever, the pressure really isn't there that much from the fan base, because the fan base isn't as rabid as this one. So is there more of a challenge for him to go through that process and maybe, do it slowly the way the Rays were able to finally build it up?
I think you're on a great point, Chris, and that is, it's St. Louis, so expectations are high. They're going to continue to be high. But I think you hit the nail on the head early in that little section there, Chris, and that is, the Cardinals have to come out and be straightforward with the fans. They need to be clear about the problems that they've had, and they need to identify to the best of their ability how they're going to address it. And I think the fans will come back to the ballpark if they see a plan that's believable, if they see a frank representation of where we are now and where we need to be. Because, like it or not, the message recently has been, we have a better team than we show on the field. And the last 3 years suggest maybe that's not the case, and something more definitive needs to be done.
Brian Walton covers the Cardinals minor league system and has for a long time, thecardinalnation.com. I think it's unfair to heap too much on J.J. Weatherholt, like he's going to come in and change this entire organization. But that said, I am curious about your observations of him since he was drafted last year out of the University of West Virginia. Brian?
I've been very, very pleased with J.J. Weatherholt. Of course, he's progressed through the system. quite steadily. I know some were, disappointed that he didn't come up to St. Louis in September, but I don't think that was realistic. I don't think that was necessary. But 16 home runs, 55 RBI this season, 941 OPS, 21 stolen bases, and then of course also picked up not only third base, but second base as well, such that when he does come up, he'll have position versatility that'll give Oliver Marmol some more options in the lineup, because Weatherholt may or may not start at second base day one, as some people have penciled him in. But it's pretty exciting to think about up the middle, the Cardinals having Weatherholt and Mason Wynn for years to come.
Also, Brian, we're looking ahead to next season. I would like to get your general thoughts on where the organization is now. How quickly we might be able to expect, and this is all knowing that 2027 could be interrupted with work stoppage, but other than guys like Weatherholt or Doyle, who we don't really know when we're going to see them, how quickly could we see some real actual contributors from the current minor league system the Cardinals have?
Well, the disappointing thing is that Quinn Matthews was a guy, if we'd had this conversation 12 months ago, he's coming off a season in which he got promoted multiple times, led the entire minor leagues, not the Cardinals system, but all of minor league baseball in strikeouts. I thought Quinn Matthews was going to be on the Michael McGreevy trajectory, where he got off to a good start in AAA and forced his way into the rotation. But Quinn Matthews had some shoulder problems early on and is still having problems with walks, and it's not clear when Matthews is going to be ready. Behind that, of course, you have the injuries to Tank Hence and Tekoa Roby, Cooper Jerpy, and that was the next wave of pitchers that the Cardinals were going to hope to be able to plug into the rotation. But all three of those guys, spent the second half of the season on the injured list, and so there's big questions about that. Of course, Jimmy Crooks, who's up right now, is probably the guy who will contribute next. I think that Nathan Church has had a breakout season. He always was a great defender, could always hit from left side of the plate, but now is hitting right-handed, left-handed, and right-handed pitchers both very, very well. He's a good complementary player, but there's a gap. Joshua Baez down in AA is doing very, very well, but he's not ready. So, there's not going to be a lot of guys, I think, and Leonardo Bernal, of course, the catcher down in AA. The Cardinals are loaded at catcher in the system with Rainiel Rodriguez also, who finished the year at Peoria. So, but there aren't a lot of guys who I think we're going to come to camp and say, man, that guy's going to force his way onto the roster.
Any other names? I love the Rodriguez kid. Any other names that you think might be that next level that are going to start to ascend out of single A, Brian?
Oh, there's a young man named Daniel Ortiz, Deniel, Deniel, not Daniel, who was drafted in the 16th round, 20 years old, corner infielder, first baseman, third baseman. And this young man, 20 years old, exceptional play at both Palm Beach and then moved up to Peoria. And we're talking about a guy who has power and speed as well. He stole 39 bases and hit 13 home runs, batted 300 on top of it. So this is a young man that's going to rise very, very quickly through the system, I think. Could start next year at AA, but if not, he'll certainly be there during the season. And then I really didn't give Rainiel Rodriguez enough attention. Led the system with 20 home runs at the age of 18. Started out in the backfields in Jupiter, blew through Palm Beach and got a cup of coffee at Peoria at the end of the year. Led the system with a 954 OPS this year. So there's some good young hitters coming up in the system. There's also some pitching at Springfield, some good starting pitching, but again, probably at least a year away.
Yeah, that's exciting to hear, but it's still a ways away. We look forward to seeing it being built. And one final thing, let me promote that if you want to go learn about this system and you want to really dig into it, The Cardinal Nation is the site, Brian. Tell us, before we go, your favorite things about what you offer.
Well, I can't do it all. And I kind of implied at the beginning it was all me, and it's not. We have minor league reporters in each of the affiliate cities, so they're telling us what's going on there, our eyes and ears in the ballparks all season long. So we have daily team reports, each team 1 day a week, in-depth report. We have recaps of all the minor league games. We do prospect rankings monthly, and then I have a prospect guide that comes out every year. It's that we're closing out the 2025s now, and in detail information on about 60 different prospects in the system, a lot of history information. There is new content on the St. Louis Cardinals minor league system 365 days a year at the Cardinal Nation. We're very, very proud of what we deliver.
Well, we appreciate you joining us. It's always good to hear you. TheCardinalNation.com's Brian Walton on the Gashouse Gang on KMOX. I would think this will not be the last time we speak to you as this offseason approaches, sir. Thank you very much.
Talk to you again soon, guys.
Good to be with you. The Gashouse Gang sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com, and by Anderson Hospital. We'll come back and visit a little bit more about what we've heard and take some of your questions and comments. There are a bunch today. Everybody's active today on the keyboard. We'll get into it. And then Barrett Jackman, the great Blues defenseman, along with us. He'll be with us at 12:45. Back in a moment on KMOX.
At 5, when others are running out of steam, the Redbird Rush Hour hits the gas. Kevin Wheeler, Matt Pauley, and Bernie Miklasz bring sharp analysis, fresh insight, and no recycled takes. Real baseball talk for fans who know the game. Redbird Rush Hour, weekdays at 5 on 104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of St. Louis, the unrivaled voice of baseball.
Not bad now, 84 degrees in St. Louis, but don't worry, it's about to get really hot by Saturday. Could have a high of 99.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Maureen talks about her experience using 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
I had for years been dreaming how I wanted my kitchen down to every detail. When 3-Day Kitchen and Bath came, they were thrilled to death that I knew exactly what I wanted. They came back with a drawing and it was perfect. It was exactly what I wanted. They came in, they did their thing, and it turned out as perfect as I imagined it. The quality of it is beautiful. It's amazing. It is beautiful. They were efficient. They were trustworthy. The recommendations were unquestionable. And they were going to do exactly what I wanted. I had a lovely experience.
Start your remodel today by visiting 3daykitchen.com.
At 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Because we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see lots of lawyers' ads. Most seem to be bragging on results, but are they true or misleading? For example, in some cases, a firm may try a case even though the at-fault party has no lawyer, then brag in the ad about their results. My son Matt got one for nearly $50 million, but we never collected one dime. Some lawyers may say they got a result even though they were sitting second chair at a firm like mine, and even though they had little to do with it. Happens all the time. All that glitters is not gold. At Morgan & Morgan, our results are real. Visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts to see for yourself what your case may be worth before you hire a law firm. Do your homework. Fact check. It's easy and too important not to. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
We started Neovitin because we wanted to create a multivitamin for ourselves. That's why we focus on quality ingredients and formulas with our multivitamins. Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins are formulated with over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our 4-ingredient physician-formulated proprietary blend for the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins a try for yourself Find them at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitan.com.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brisati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
The countdown to kickoff starts here. Friday's focus on Mizzou, the Chiefs, and the NFL, only on KMOX.
Now the wind up, the 2-2 pitch. And a one-hopper up the middle, knocked down by Mason Wynn, who throws on one hop. He got him! Wynn from the outfield grass threw on a hop to first base. A good dig by Burleson. That's the way our game begins in St. Louis.
Welcome back to the Gashouse Gang. A lot of comments. Chris Ranji, I'm Tom Ackerman. Matt Pajeski's our producer. Everything from they like my Anheuser-Busch shirt that I'm wearing today. Appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, that is a nice little polo you got there.
Thank you. Joe said all you have to do is go to Cardinals Fantasy Camp. Best 5 days ever. I have done that. Did that 3 years in a row. It was absolutely incredible experience. If you ever get a chance, if you want to know what it's like to be a ball player and go to the training room and see what they actually have to do, you'll go through a little bit of pain and humiliation, but you'll have a good time.
Let me say this to you. If you do go to fantasy camp, and most people who go are a little older, they will tell you, do not be shy about going to the trainer.
Oh, for sure.
Because they say it like, look, I know you think you're going to be okay. Go see the trainer.
That's right.
When you're done, just go and they will help you. And
definitely. They tell you two things.
Help a lot.
Don't be a hero. Don't try to beat out a grounder. You will blow out your hamstring or your calf or something, or your Achilles.
Is correct.
And then secondly, if you want to be in the training room on day 2 in the morning, be on the first bus to the ballpark because there will be a line to get in.
That's right. First time I went to a fantasy camp, we were taking batting practice on day 1. Guy broke his leg in the outfield. So I'm not saying you're going to break your leg. It's just that you take it a little easy.
We had a guy.
You're not 22.
Yeah, we had a guy tear his calf during our first warm-up stretching session on the field when we first walked out. And he was done for camp.
Oh, man.
Felt terrible for him. Mason Wynn has spent some time in the training room. I assure you of that. A meniscus tear is what we were told yesterday. But before that, Ollie Marmol was addressing the subject here on the Gashouse Gang.
Or was he? I'm pretty sure he was.
At the moment, no. It's a great question. And a couple things to that. If Mason or anybody in our clubhouse thought we were out of it, and that might seem crazy to you, I don't care what you think, then probably. But right now, man, they're showing up every day wanting to compete and win every game and just take their shot. If medical felt like it could get worse by continuing to play, then we definitely would have pulled the plug already and not risked the rest of the season and made sure he was rested and ready for his offseason. But that's not the case. Medically, they feel like the injury is what it is. It's a pain tolerance thing. And if he can get through it, continue to, because you're not going to do further damage. And the boys want to continue to take their shot every day, man.
All right, so who are we listening to here? Are we listening to Mason calling the shots? Is it Ollie? Is it the front office? Is it the doctors? I got to say, I have to trust the medical staff when they say, I have to trust them when they say you can't injure it any further if you can play. It's just a pain tolerance thing. This is a comment from one of our viewers on YouTube. Can we talk about the Cardinals' unwillingness to shut down Wynn for the remainder of the season? What is there to gain if he hurts himself trying to compensate for the knee? That is a great point that I also am concerned about. I don't think they're even close to being a playoff team. I'm sorry, but I'm in that boat, and I have been for a long time.
They're 4.5 games out.
But man, they're 2 games under 500 with a lot of teams in front of them. And secondly, Mason Wynn is going to win the Gold Glove. I don't see anybody taking it from him if he misses the end of September. I could be wrong about that. But anyway, if the guy wants to play and the doctors say it's okay, then I guess I have to trust him.
So sometimes you have to save a player from himself.
Mhm.
And that is absolutely true because there are a lot of guys who like to push through, prove to their teammates they're gamers. They don't want anybody to think that they're not. So sometimes you have to step in and say, okay, sorry, we need you for the long haul. You're going to have to sit down and you're going to have to deal with that. However, there are times where you build a lot of trust with your players when that player says, hey, I'm not going to get hurt worse. I want to play because I want to help this team as best I can. I think that pays dividends later. So This is not really a problem for me because I do think once it becomes apparent for sure they're not going to make the playoffs with 16 games left to go, they're going to set him.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're going to protect this guy is one of the cornerstones,
part of their future,
of the future. We don't talk a lot about core anymore because it's all been about runway. I don't trust that anybody's really part of the core moving forward except for him. I think Wynn definitely is. Let's take a break. We'll come back, and here's a guy who played hurt his entire career, basically. Barrett Jackman, one of the toughest players the Blues have ever had. He is going to take over as alumni director, and he joins us on the Gashouse Gang next on KMOX.
Summer is here. Time to enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree Experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
This is Debbie Monterey, and if you or a loved one needs some extra assistance to age comfortably and safely at home, look no further than Ever True Anywhere Care. Formerly Lutheran Senior Services, their team walks alongside you every step of your journey. Whether it's navigating a dementia diagnosis or handling end-of-life care and bereavement, they offer world-class caregivers right here in St. Louis. Call 314-597-6498 or visit evertrueanywherecare.org.
It's back, and you're invited to join us in Forest Park, September 19th and 20th, for the 53rd Annual Great Forest Park Balloon Race Weekend, presented by PNC Bank. Attendance is free, and the number of memories and photos you can capture is endless. Special thanks to New Ground International and Blue Moon Brewing Company. The 53rd Annual Great Forest Park Balloon Race Weekend. For more details, visit the events page at KMOX.com. If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
It's the most inspiring night in sports, the Musial Awards at Stiefel Theater. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event from St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the Musial Awards celebrate those who uplift us through their extraordinary sportsmanship. Experience the remarkable moments and people that make this an event like no other. The Musial Awards, presented by Maryville University, Saturday, November 22nd. Tickets at musialawards.com.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gashouse Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Samoka now for Stewart. The late man Jackson. He scores! Unbelievable for Barrett Jackson. Of all people to give the Blues a 2-1 lead.
Oh, Barrett Jackman with the goal. Jax, we found a goal of yours, 28 goals.
Jeez, that's how we're starting.
Hey, geez. Yeah, all right. Well, see you guys later.
Yeah, he knows I love this guy. 13 of his 14 NHL seasons, 803 regular season games, second all time on the Blues in games played. I said it before the break. One of the toughest Blues of all time. Barrett Jackman joins us on KMOX, the new alumni director. I love that, Jax.
Yeah. So, yes, they kind of roped me into it, and so now a lot of babysitting alumni. So it'll be fun.
What does that entail? I mean, it says here that you're going to oversee all aspects of the association and charitable work, which I think is an important part of this. It is a big network of alumni. We all know that, and so many of them are living in St. Louis, but you all do so much for the community, Barrett.
Yeah, as alumni, kind of the biggest thing for us is just kind of making sure that we're all, in a good frame of mind. Everybody's healthy, happy, and their families are good. And that's our biggest thing. But, with that, the charitable part of it too, a lot of our fundraising efforts are going towards, different charities, whether it's to help ease the burden of the hockey costs for, some elite hockey players in town to realize their dream, or veterans, first responders, police, firemen, and all that type of stuff. And then we, kind of help out with a lot of charities like the Siteman Cancer. We have alumni that have something that's close to their heart, like Chaser does, and different charities like Siteman's cancer research as well.
So what's the thing in you that tells you that you want to do this job? Because a lot of guys, when they retire from the sport, they kind of just want to just live, maybe enjoy retirement and enjoy family and all of that stuff. But what made you want to do this?
Just seeing how much Bruce Affleck has done over the years to help our alumni association, and he's done an amazing job of keeping us together. And if you ask anybody around the league, they look at St. Louis as the measuring stick of the best alumni group going. And I got a great support system with the alumni that are here in town that will help out. But letting Bruce kind of enjoy his retirement, I guess you would say. Let him kind of do his thing, and let somebody else take the burden of the day-to-day with the alumni.
And I know that right there by your side for the rest of your life will be Bobby Plager, just your fellow number 5, and somebody who, you talk about the greatest of the St. Louis Blues. He really was the St. Louis Blues, wasn't he, Jax?
He was, yeah. Right from day one, when I was drafted, he was right there telling his true stories, not jokes. Right after I got drafted, and I knew he was somebody special, and I didn't realize, the impact that he would have on my life, but knew he would be part of it. And so the first thing I did when I got my office downtown is hung the Bobby Plager jersey right behind my desk that he signed for me. So, and part of this job is, carrying on the traditions of the Blue Notes from 67, and what Bobby and a lot of great players to go through here have kind of built with the culture.
It's been almost 9.5 years since you played your last NHL game. Does it feel like it's been that long? I would think that you get this far away from it, you look back and probably feel like, man, it just that career I was just playing hockey. How did it get to this point?
Yeah, it does. I think Caruso was the one that the other day said, "Hey, it's almost 10 years since you signed that one-day contract." And I was like, "No, you got to be wrong." But it's gone by quick. I just love still being around the rink and everything. But yeah, it does seem like it was just a few years ago that I was on the ice and getting out the aggression and fighting and hitting people.
One of the great things that we do, I think, is a St. Louis sports market. Our fans embrace, media does too, our former players. And along with our current players, they make those alumni feel important and loved, and they celebrate them. And I see that on September 19th, so a week from Friday, you're going to be at the Blues and Brews at Anheuser-Busch. Shen, Fowler, Snuggerud, Bugstad, Suter, Mayu, Jim Montgomery, and some special guests, and the band Perry performing. Tickets on sale at stlouisblues.com. Boy, that Snuggerud's a player, isn't he? As soon as he put on that blue note, I was like, wow, I see why they were hyping him up so much.
Yeah, you kind of look at his path to get here. Probably could have been here a year ago and decided to stay in college and try and give his team a chance to win a national championship. And that just shows some character. And the way he stepped in at the end of the year and what he did in playoffs, it's a pretty special player, pretty special person to step in and not succumb to the nerves, but he's got a bright future. And I heard his off season was really good in his training, and I think he's taking this pretty serious, and he's a special one.
I know that you just said a moment ago, and I would go back to a thing that you mentioned, in that when you were playing hockey, you had a way to get out your aggression. Well, how do you do it now?
It's hard. I yell at kids on the ice now. I coach 16-year-olds, so every once in a while they're not paying attention. I'll go by and give them a little nudge and see if I still can knock somebody over. So it might be a safe sport or maybe a police violation, but you turn the cameras off when I'm on the ice.
Well, you are in an incredible position where you're touching, the alumni, the greats that made this franchise great, and also the ones who are up and coming. And who knows, they could be playing for the Blues. Some of them do make it right into the NHL, and Barrett Jackman is all over it. He is the new alumni director, stlouisblues.com for all of their activities. Jax, it's so great to talk to you and have you and to have hockey back. Thanks for being on KMOX.
Yeah, no problem. My pleasure. Excited for the season and excited for the new role as well.
Yeah, I'm pumped. See you, Jax. Thank you. The rookies reported to camp today. They start working out tomorrow.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and then in a week, it is time to go. The full squad will be working out. Thanks for joining us.
It's time for us to go, too.
It is, as a matter of fact. This has been the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.